Very much.
Dr. Villegas, we will not let you off easily. Please do not leave the stage because we have a Q&A session. Dr. Villegas cannot stay with us for the panel discussion because he has another commitment at 4 this afternoon. But we will be allowed to ask him very sensitive questions, all right? Please, if you have any questions, please come forward. We have mics on the aisles, but I will start off the questioning with Dr. Villegas. Dr. Villegas, where are you? Your outlook for the Philippine economy is as bright as my tie.
And my old head.
But everyone, I'm sure, wants to find out here about the near-term political situation and how it will impact the economy going forward. According to your PPP, your PowerPoint presentation, the Philippine economy can expand between 7 to 10% over the next decade. And you're very bullish about President Benigno Aquino's economic reforms. However, he still has 3 years left in his term. Who do you think? I will put you in a spot. There are a lot of people who doubt who could be a credible president or a credible candidate in 2016. Who do you think could be the next president of the Philippines? And do you think will that president, whoever he is, will be pressured to continue the economic policies and reforms of the current president? Or are we going to get back into cronyism and more pork barrel funds brouhahas?
Thank you very much, Rico, for putting me on the spot. But the question is very well taken. And I'm no political analyst. I just read expert poll studies. And right now, if an election is held, the vice president, Binay, will be elected as president. I'm not saying I'm in favor or against, but that is what the polls say. So you cannot be an ostrich and bury your head. Now, the question is, of course, 3 years, 2.5 years are long enough. Someone else may come up, a dark horse, but I don't think any darker horse can come out anyway. So, the dark horse will come.
Dr. Villegas, this proceeding is being recorded.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's my friend.
Uploaded on YouTube.
He is always very proud.
He knows that. He knows that he's a dark horse.
He is very proud of his, because black is beautiful, as you very well know. Just look at the United States. No. But here is where, as a professor, I will give those of you who have not read the book a reading assignment. Read the book by James Robinson called Why Nations Fail. And the thesis is, the key to success is institution building, not personalities. And I just described how over the last 25 years, institutions have been built, as you say in Cebuano, hinay-hinay, pero kanunay. Slowly, but gradually. No president in 2016 can reverse those changes, especially because we in the private sector, civil society, business, will be very vigilant that those institutions are not touched. And so, even assuming that all the rumors about what happened in Makati when he was mayor, and I cannot say one or the other, I don't have evidence. Whoever becomes president will have very little freedom of movement to be corrupt. There will be all sorts of statements of assets and liabilities, thanks to what happened to Corona. All sorts of Makati Business Club, Management Association of the Philippines, and of course, investigative journalists like Rico Hison. They will be there, and that is the strength of the Philippines. I think we need not fear a leadership change. We have enough institutions in our critical mass to be able to digest any new leader. So that's my answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Well said. Now we have a question from the floor. Your name, please, and company.
Okay. I'm with Holganza from Mindanao, Davao. Thank you for that pitch for CDO. Dr. Villegas, I I'd like to ask about your opinion as far as countryside development is concerned. To what extent do you think will the ICT BPO opportunities spread out to the countryside?
I think it's already spreading out. As you've been doing, you've been in Tacloban, thanks to Bongbora among others. You're in Bacolod, you are in Dumaguete, you're in Davao, and as I said, you have to add Cagayan de Oro. I think it's happening. Now what we have to do to tell the Department of Transport and Communication is please continue making sure that the broadband will be there, that the airport, the Landingan Airport, has to have a better road to Cagayan de Oro. It's amazing how you land at the airport, very nice, and then suddenly you go through the moon, homes. So, I mean, but I'm just saying this because I know that Secretary Singson is addressing it. In fact, he promised that before Christmas, that road will be completed. So, countryside development, I'm glad, was the big problem of the past. We became the sick man of Asia, not because of corruption. We became the sick man of Asia because we were so obsessed with inward-looking import substitution industrialization that we thought agriculture, farming, the rural areas were for the burbs. And if you take a look at where are the poor, 75% of them are in rural areas. But as I said, things have changed. It started with ERA and it's continued now. And hopefully in the next 10 years, we can follow the footsteps of the outstanding model for agricultural development, which is Thailand. I said something negative about Thailand, but now I'm saying something positive about Thailand. 20 years ago, under the inspiration of an outstanding king, the Thais endowed all of their countryside with the best infrastructures. And that actually resulted in 3 successes. Very good agribusiness export, 15 million tourists who were able to reach all the destinations they were interested in, and very early on, they defeated even a more fierce communist guerrilla that they had in the 70s, because the military could pursue them to the end of the world because the roads existed. Here in the Philippines, the NPAs just hide in Banahaw or Kitanlad, etc. The military cannot pursue them because there are no roads. So those are what we have to imitate in Thailand. Not the condoms, but the farm-to-market roads. Thank you very much.
All right. We have a question, yes, from John Marie Mercado.
Yes. With the growth in our economy, does that mean we'll be able to afford to bring Rick Rohison back to the Philippines?
Which one?
It's too expensive now.
Yes.
No, seriously, the question, she mentioned about the AEC.
Yes.
What is the impact to the Philippines specifically with the AEC? The good and the bad?
Well, the impact is all the entrepreneurial businesses here. And they're all examples, whether it's the YY manufacturing, Uishis, all over Southeast Asia. You have United Lab has been all over Southeast Asia for the last 30 years. So more and more companies with the entrepreneurial daring will replicate what succeeds in the Philippines, first in Indonesia, Vietnam, and Myanmar, and we challenge the Thais also in some areas. So that is what the AEC is all about. Globalization, at least regionalization of your business. And that's what I'm really encouraging those of you who have successful entrepreneurial ventures in the Philippines, look at opportunities to duplicate them in the ASEAN countries. And right now, let me tell you, the DMCI group is already putting up homes in Myanmar, despite still the unclear policy of the Myanmar government. But precisely, if you're there ahead of all the pack, you will succeed ahead of the others. Of course, you may face the same problems as a lot of the people who were the first comers in China. Their products were imitated. When they learned, they were kicked out. Obviously, those are risks. I'm sure some of you were victims of the Chinese, let's say, very brilliant strategy of inviting people to come and then imitating their products and sooner or later saying, nice to know you, goodbye.
Dr. Villegas, let's get into the issue of the cost of power. Many investors are complaining that it is too high. Do you think that electricity costs, electricity rates will ever come down? And if ever you would advise President Aquino or future leaders, what should they basically do to bring down the cost of energy?
Well, you'll notice, name any tycoon, name anyone in the Forbes list of billionaires.